This is our third and final installment of a series that began with a study of one of several Old Testament Hebrew names of God, Yahweh Ropheka, the Lord your healer, which then led us to explore several different Greek words in the New Testament that all convey the meaning of healing. Check the links in the description of this video, which will take you to those first two installments. The final, and in my opinion, the most important word for healing that I want to look at is this one, sozo, a word that generally means to save. But the meaning and application of this Greek verb sozo is deeper and broader than our English word save. Sozo can mean to rescue from a dangerous situation, as when the disciples, in a violent storm on the Sea of Galilee, woke sleeping Jesus and cried out, "Lord, save us, we are perishing." And it can have a spiritual sense of eternal salvation, as when the angel told Joseph that Mary's son Jesus will save his people from their sins. And sozo can apply to the miraculous healing of a physical disease or ailment, as when the woman with a chronic hemorrhage sought to touch the hem of Jesus' robe in the hope of sothesomai, I will be healed. The core stem of all these forms of sozo consists of these two letters, sigma, omega. As I mentioned in previous videos, the letters that come before and after the stem give us grammatical information for how the word is used in the sentence. In most contexts, it is not difficult to figure out how sozo ought to be translated, either as save or heal. But because of the breadth and depth of the meaning of this word, when faced with the limited meaning of our two distinctly different English words for heal and save, at times translators of the English Bible face a challenge in choosing which way to translate this word sozo. As when Jesus said, "Your faith has saved you," or "Your faith has made you well." Or as James reminds us that the prayer of faith will save the one who is sick, or heal or restore the one who is sick. Please do not find fault with translators who choose one expression over the other. Both are correct. Now there is one important story in the New Testament where we see the verb sozo used twice. Once to mean a physical healing, and again in the same context to mean eternal salvation. And the connection between those two meanings in the story is not coincidental. The story begins in Acts chapter 3, where Peter and John meet a lame man whose livelihood was begging for money from worshippers coming into the temple courtyard. Reading now from Acts chapter 3, beginning at the 3rd verse, the English Standard Version. Seeing Peter and John about to go into the temple, he asked to receive alms. But Peter said, "I have no silver or gold, but what I do have I give to you. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk." And he took him by the right hand and raised him up, and immediately his feet and ankles were made strong. And leaping up he stood and began to walk, and entered the temple with them, walking and leaping and praising God. And all the people saw him walking and praising God, and recognized him as the one who sat at the beautiful gate of the temple, asking for alms. And they were filled with wonder and amazement at what had happened to him. Now as the people gathered around them, Peter and John took advantage of the opportunity to tell them about Jesus. And it was on account of that unlawful proclamation of the name of Jesus that Peter and John were arrested and put in jail, apparently along with the happy man who had been healed. The next day the three of them were brought out of jail and taken to trial before the Sanhedrin, the very same court that had a few weeks earlier condemned Jesus to death. The question the court put to them was, "By what power or by what name did you do this?" "Well, do what?" "Well, preach about Jesus and his resurrection right there in the temple." Acts 4:2 states explicitly that that was the reason they were arrested. But the question was sufficiently vague that Peter reinterpreted the question, no doubt deliberately, by answering, "If we are being examined today concerning a good deed done to a crippled man, and by what means this man has been healed, sesostai, let it be known to all of you and to all the people of Israel, that by the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, whom you crucified, whom God raised from the dead, by him this man is standing before you well, hugies. This Jesus is the stone which was rejected by you, the builders, which has become the cornerstone. And there is salvation in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given among men by which we must, sothenai, be saved. Notice that the first time this verb sozo appears in Peter's response, it clearly refers to the physical healing of the lame man. It was by the name and authority of Jesus Christ that he was healed, physically saved, if you will. And Peter continues that it is only by the name of Jesus Christ that you, honorable members of the High Court of Israel, can and must sothenai, be eternally saved, which, by far, is the greater need. An interesting and powerful play on this one Greek word that conveys both meanings, to heal physically and to save eternally. Due to the limitations of the English language, this is one of those nuggets of gold that gets lost in translation. As I've worked through this three-part study of the Hebrew and Greek verbs for healing that we find in the Bible, I've occasionally mentioned related nouns and adjectives which are derived from these verbs, and there are several more that I didn't mention, but are worthy of your attention nonetheless. You will find notes and links to those related words in the description of each of these videos. I encourage you to poke around and explore them on your own. And thank you for watching.